Okay, so let's go away and create our first template, and then I'll come back to here once we created that template, and I'll show you some of these tools on the toolbar here. So we're going to go over to templates over here. We're going to create template. Now I'm going to go into the AI here. Now you can see in this in the template section we've got a generate tab as well as enhance and chat. Create a client background document, and we press enter there. Create a client background and context document. A narrative capturing the company's history, strategic shifts, organisational structure and marketing position. So what I will say is that when you first sign up, we already know your industry, your role within that industry, so that we can create templates based on your industry and your role. So you don't have to be very specific here and say, I work in the management consulting industry and I'm a lead consultant, and this. You don't have to say all of that because we already know you're here because you want to create a template, and from when you signed up, we already know what your industry is and your job role. So by using that information, we can create a template that fits for your industry. So I've gone ahead and created a client background and a context document here. I was very specific about what I wanted within the document. Well, I say I was very specific. So the information I had was a narrative capturing the company's history, strategic shifts, organizational structure and market positioning. Now, you can be very loose, and often I'd recommend being very loose. You can say, I just want a client background and context document, and that way the AI will go away and create what it thinks should be added to it. And it might be things that you haven't considered or thought of. So actually, it's actually quite good to be quite general and broad quite often. But if what you want, you can create that. But as I say, being broad, you might add things in you might miss some things out, but then you can go and add them in anyway afterwards. But I think broad is often best, or just don't provide too much guidance unless you really know what you want, and then you can be very specific. So I've added a client background and context document here. I'm going to say this is for now you can create these categories yourself as well, but I've got a few here. So we're going to call this project and program management. But you've got a manage categories link here. We can go and create new categories if you want to. So it allows you just again to sort your documents very easily and very easily be able to see what the document is for. So I'm going to leave it here as the project and program management category here. And now it's created this document for us, or this template. So let's have a look what it's put in there. So it's put the client background and context document. It's got the company overview, the name, founded, headquarters, the industry sector, core business activities. Okay, the historical development. So this section narrates the company's history and key milestones, strategic shifts and evolution, organisational structure, market positioning. So okay, that seems to have covered off a lot of the stuff that we wanted there. So I'm going to accept those suggestions. And what I'll show you as well is if I hide this AI assistant, you can see I've got the template helper. So I can click this for the guidance. It turns it on and off. And it tells you how you build this template. So if you did want to build them by hand manually, you can. I'd recommend just using the AI to do that because it will format it for you correctly. But you've got some instructions here about how you want things to be structured. So if there's specific text that you want in the document always, you put quotes around it. So maybe you want to say thanks for reading, and if you did that you would always get thanks for reading at the bottom. That's not a very good example. Maybe you can see an example here. Identify the main challenges faced by the company and potential opportunities for growth and improvement. That will be verbatim on every document you create. Now if you use square brackets, this allows the AI to insert, this is basically a placeholder for the AI to insert the company name, key strategic milestones and dates here. So you can build this up on your own. It's decided to put a table in for this part. So you can, again, similarly to how we created the document there, we can go and enhance the document. So in the example here, we've got to make the tone more formal and add a section for follow-up. But you could add in, oh no, I want this section to be a table, or I want this section to be bullet points, or however you'd like it. And you can then craft this template to be exactly what you want. So it comes out the same every time, looks really nicely formatted after every meeting that you have for which this template is useful. You can also use the chat again here. So you can say things like make recommendations for how I improve the structure of this template. So that's why I quickly put that in there. This really is for you to ask questions about the template creation itself. Like what maybe like here, what recommendations can I make? So this is quite broad, but you can maybe add a little bit more context and ask for what other sections could be missing from this template that you might want to consider adding. So if I pop this open a little bit more again here, recommendations for improving the template: use consistent section numbering headings, standardized section numbering for easier references and automation, separate fixed instructions from placeholders, including clear placeholder naming conventions. So it provides like detailed on how to structure and create that document. So you can follow some of those instructions if you want to, if you think they're good, or you can just carry on with what you've got. We allow very easy copy and pasting out of the template recommendations here as well if we want to do that. Okay, so we've got our template. I'm going to give it a favorite to make it easier to find. So we just click the star there. I may already have one of these, so I'm just going to call this new just so we can easily find it. I'm going to save this template, and if we go back to our records, click on our record. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and create our new documents. We click on the plus sign over here, and we can go into our favorites or all of our templates, and then we can go ahead and search, or we can just scroll down and find the document that we want. So this was the client background. There you go. So I did have one in already, so I'm going to use the new one that we just created and go create document. So now it's going ahead and creating the document, and a bit like ChatGPT style, you can go ahead and start reading the document before it's actually finished working through it. So you can say it's got the company overview that we mentioned there. So it's mentioned Vertex Electronics. In the example meeting, we get the customer to introduce their meeting. So they obviously mentioned it was founded in 2010, but they didn't mention where their headquarters were. So this might be something that you want to add in yourself, or this may be something that you just want to take out completely. And I'll show you an easy way of doing and finding all of those placeholders that didn't get filled in a minute. So you've got industry sector here, and then we can take a look through like the historical development. This section narrates the company's history and key milestones, strategic shifts and evolution, organizational structure in a table here, market positioning, competitive landscapes, recent developments. So it's got everything in here, all based from that fictional meeting that we had.